I never thought we would. I have not. I was brought up at a time when there were only two forces on earth, only two. One was good, one was evil. That's it. There were no gray areas. We were the good, the Soviets were the evil. Period. Period. The crazy fuckers who ran this country in the 40s and 50s took that so seriously, they even changed our Pledge of Allegiance to the flag and added under God. Do you know why? Not because we were so fucking religious, but because the communists were godless. And just in case you had any doubt as to who were the good guys, the ones that believed in the sky spook, and who were the bad guys, the ones who were those pig atheists, the members of Congress decided to make it simple for you. One nation under God. But in my entire lifetime, there were only two forces on this planet. And they were working against each other to the tune of the deaths of millions of people. Millions of people. Now, we can say that the forces of, the way I define it, the communists and the capitalists. Of course, there were the fascists were in there too, Hitler and Mussolini and Franco and the royal family in Japan, and you know. But that was something that I was born into, or it happened before I was born. And I realized the Russian Revolution happened way before I was born, but the defining factions of power against power my entire life were communism, Russian style, Soviet style, and capitalism, American style. Period. And because I was brought up on that, I was spoon-fed that, as was everybody in my generation and the next generation. I'm not a baby boomer. I'm a war baby. But the baby boomers and even Gen X that came next, we were all fed that same diet, that there are only two forces on earth. One of them is good, one of them is bad. One of them seeks light and truth, and one of them seeks darkness and lies. The United States, the Soviet Union. With all that inculcation of right and wrong as perceived by the capitalists, with all that information being fed into our little malleable brains, who would have thought that there would come a time when a president of the United States, a capitalist pig, appears to be a capitalist pig. He's not. He's a fucking gangster. But a capitalist pig would sell this country down the fucking river to the communists, who are not really communists, they're fascists. But who would have thought, I'm talking about the symbolism now, who would have thought that an American president would betray this country and hand it over to the Russians? Who would have fucking thought that? That's what's happened. You do, I hope the fuck you understand that. That's why this effort is, it was Ukrainians who corrupted. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was the Russians with the help of Trump and his filthy, filthy fucking family. And the Republican Party. The Republicans. I don't think there had been a more vocal, almost violent force on earth against global communism than the American Republican Party. Jesus Christ. Think Goldwater. Think the John Birch Society. Think all of the organizations in the 40s and 50s and 60s that warned us against Russian communism. And now that same, by name anyway, Republican Party is assisting in handing our goddamn political system over to the Russians. Oh my God. And that same Republican Party is insisting that the gangster, traitorous dog Donald Trump is innocent of any of this. That it's all made up, make believe, even though the evidence is just mountains of evidence. But these Christian fuckers who run the Republican Party, these Nazi Christians, evidence doesn't mean shit. If it did, their little fucking religion would just evaporate. It's amazing. I guess I'm a victim, in a manner of speaking, I'm a victim of the anti-Soviet, the anti-Red, the anti-Russian, the anti-communist stuff that was pumped into me my entire life. When I was a kid growing up, I knew any fucking day those bad people, the Soviets, might drop nuclear bombs on Toledo, Ohio, and we would all die. I knew that. I knew that from doing duck and cover drills in elementary school. And now, after all these years, I have to watch a president of the United States betray this country. By doing the bidding and seeking and getting the cooperation of the very forces of Russian fascism that I was told my whole life was the worst thing on earth. And I have to watch a Republican Party assisting this fascist pig Donald Trump in turning this country over to those forces of fascism. Unfucking real. I'll tell you, of late, and my wife will certainly validate this, of late, I feel like I'm living in, I don't know, a parallel universe. I feel like I'm losing my fucking mind half the time. I try to limit what I'm seeing on MSNBC, what I'm reading in the Times and the Post. I can't because I do this. And I'm not going to quit doing this. I want to see how this turns out. I have a sick feeling I know how it's going to turn out. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. You have your choice. You can listen to the ranting with the audio podcast or listen and watch me lose control with a video podcast subscription. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.